let's dive into this. Because today we are looking at a story that completely redefines what it means to be stuck in life. We're going to explore an absolutely incredible journey of personal transformation, moving from just total exhaustion and hopelessness to building a deeply meaningful future. And it all starts with a simple, quiet realization that happens when the rest of the world is fast asleep. If you've ever felt like your daily routine is just slowly draining your dreams away, well, this explainer is exactly for you. Picture this, right? It's way past midnight. The whole city is sleeping peacefully. But for a guy named Adrian, his reality is a freezing, drafty warehouse, blinding industrial lights, and the heavy, excruciatingly slow lifting of boxes. He's dealing with agonizingly long shifts, body aches, and just this bone-deep constant exhaustion. This was his entire life. Most of us never really think about the tired hands moving our packages silently behind the scenes. But for Adrian, this repetitive physical destruction was slowly tricking him into believing his life would never ever become anything more. Section 1. The Survival Trap. Believing life would never improve. You see, Adrian took this warehouse job out of pure financial necessity, promising himself it was only a temporary thing. But temporary situations are incredibly dangerous when hopelessness starts to grow silently in the background. So the crucial point is that what starts as a short-term fix can dangerously mutate into an all-consuming identity. You wake up tired, work an exhausting shift, come home physically destroyed, sleep for a few hours, and repeat endlessly. Survival mode doesn't just drain your physical body, it literally consumes who you are. This dynamic really hit home for Adrian one night in the break room. He was sitting there listening to some of the younger workers actually joking about quitting their dreams and just accepting reality. They were laughing, sure, but internally, Adrian was deeply disturbed by it. He was terrified of falling into this exact contrast, physically surviving by lifting boxes endlessly but remaining entirely mentally stagnant, with absolutely no future growth or hope. He was scared to death that he too was becoming permanently stuck. And this fear wasn't a new feeling, it was deeply rooted in his childhood. Growing up, Adrian saw adults whose dreams had just disappeared beneath a mountain of bills and responsibilities. He remembered a really painful moment helping his exhausted father carry groceries up the stairs, where his dad quietly said, "Life becomes very heavy when people stop growing." As a kid, he barely understood it, but sitting in that bleak warehouse, those words started to echo loudly. They really anchor the core emotional conflict of this entire story. Section 2. The Catalyst for Change. The 2 a.m. Break Room. So Adrian is sitting alone in the break room at 2 a.m. His back hurts, his hands are aching, and mentally, he just feels completely trapped. But then he notices something totally out of place. There's an older worker over in the corner, sitting quietly, actively studying from a laptop during his 15-minute break. Amidst all this physical misery and utter exhaustion, here is someone actively trying to improve himself. Utterly confused, Adrian walks over and asks the man how he possibly has the energy to still study after these grueling shifts. The older guy just kind of smiled and gave an answer that literally shattered everything Adrian thought he knew. He looked right at him and said, "Because hard work without growth keeps people stuck forever." Man, think about the weight of that. For years, Adrian honestly believed that merely working harder physically was his ticket out. He thought physical exhaustion equaled progress. But in one single sentence, he realized he was surviving physically while dying mentally. That realization, it hit him like a lightning bolt. That exact same night, Adrian dragged himself home and wrote one deeply powerful sentence in his notebook. "I refuse to stay the same person forever." It's such a simple realization, but it had an immense emotional impact. For the very first time in years, a quiet, genuine sense of hope had actually returned to his life. Section 3. The Lonely Work. Building himself after midnight. While his coworkers immediately crashed after their shifts, Adrian forced himself to stay awake. And this brilliantly illustrates his new mindset. He created his own concrete midnight curriculum. While the world slept, he tirelessly studied communication, business, mindset, and discipline. It felt impossible at first. His body was already destroyed, and some mornings he could barely keep his eyes open. His coworkers even mocked him for it. But he realized deep down that growth requires sacrifice long before the reward ever appears. Months passed, and here is the fascinating dichotomy. His external reality hadn't changed one bit. He was still lifting heavy boxes, still struggling financially, still exhausted. But his internal reality, it was transforming massively. One morning, he caught his reflection in a dark warehouse window. His posture was different. His eyes were focused. For the first time in years, he felt genuine self-respect looking back at him. He learned that your mindset changes way before your life actually does. Section 4. The Ultimate Test. When life gets harder. But right as he was gaining this incredible internal momentum, disaster struck. His father suddenly required surgery. Overnight, medical bills were exploding and the financial pressure became immense. Adrian had to start picking up overtime constantly. We're talking agonizing double shifts, and sleep pretty much disappeared completely from his life. Sitting alone outside the warehouse one morning, feeling completely physically and emotionally broken, he genuinely wanted to quit the whole shebang. Life just felt way too unfair. But in that absolute lowest moment, what pulled him back? He remembered his dad's words. Life becomes very heavy when people stop growing. That memory gave him this sudden surge of strength. He realized that difficult seasons, no matter how incredibly painful they are temporary, but surrendering to them can become permanent. So he made the agonizing choice to keep rebuilding himself, pushing right through the pain. Section 5. The Breakthrough. Trusting the Growth. Let's move to and see how this builds over time, because this didn't happen overnight. For months, it was just invisible internal changes and strict, silent discipline. But over 2 relentless years of studying logistics, management, and leadership, that internal growth inevitably forced a massive external change. And looking years ahead, it led to a completely different life entirely, one with better income, real purpose, and actual peace. But how exactly did the break happen? Here is the exact sequence of events that broke him out of the warehouse floor. Because of all his late-night studying, a supervisor actually noticed Adrian's calm problem-solving under pressure. When a logistics coordinator position suddenly opened up, most employees doubted Adrian, but the supervisor trusted his mindset. Adrian was terrified. Those old insecurities were certainly still there, but he trusted his own preparation. He accepted the role and attacked it with the exact same discipline he built at 3 a.m. His preparation perfectly met the opportunity. Section 6, Your Future is Bigger. The Real Lesson. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we can take Adrian's story and apply this powerful lesson to our own struggles. Let's look at a full circle moment years later. Adrian is walking through that exact same warehouse. A young, exhausted worker comes up to him, feeling the exact same hopelessness Adrian used to feel, and nervously asks the million-dollar question, "How did you escape this life?" Adrian just smiled quietly and delivered this incredibly powerful truth. He said, "I stopped using exhaustion as an excuse and started using pain as motivation." It's that profound mindset shift right there. He stopped waiting for better opportunities to magically change him and started using his hardest season as the preparation ground to build his way out of the survival trap. And that leaves us with this final, really provocative thought. If you feel stuck right now, if exhaustion is destroying your confidence, you have a choice. Will you let exhaustion keep you stuck, or will you build your future silently in the dark? Remember, a difficult season is just preparation. It can still build a powerful future, one disciplined action at a time. If this explainer resonated with you today, let us know down below by commenting, "My future is bigger," because the discipline you build today will absolutely transform your tomorrow.